Jesse, it's Fed week. What's the likelihood we get a rate cut?
0.2, and as Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber said, so you're saying there's a chance. I would say no.
99.8% chance no rate cut. Looks like 87.5 at this point for July's meeting, which means first rate cut would probably come towards September. Thought this was interesting that you found from Richard Bernstein that prices paid is ticking up.
Yeah, I think that's a tariff story, and that's probably the defense to some extent that Jerome Powell will say on Wednesday, saying that they don't have room, they don't have the data to support taking another cut.
This is from our friend Nick Colas at Data Trek talking about the final parts of a Fed chair's term, and that Powell is continuing the trend of the last three chairs of being somewhat hawkish, and that markets understand that, but that the S&P gets it too, and that the last three Fed chairs in their last 12 months had a rally of an average of 16%, which is pretty good.
Yeah, so they were hawkish, and yet maybe the market was seeing through that maybe there's somebody that's coming a little more dovish on the other side of it. I will say here in a minute that there's somebody in Washington that wants this to be a little more dovish.
Yeah, here's the dot plot from last March or this past March, and we're going to get another dot plot in June, but it doesn't look like it's going to change a whole heck of a lot. But yeah, the president, talked about wanting to replace Jay Powell, and then markets didn't like that, and everyone told him.
I think Scott Bessent probably told him to chill out too.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Right.
But this was June 6th, where Trump said go for a full point of a rate cut because things were slowing down in terms of inflation. And then he said the same thing on June 11th. That brings back worries of this guy right here, Arthur Burns from the 70s, who was Nixon's Fed chair. Found this kind of interesting. The interactions between Fed officials and the president were pretty high in the 70s.
Yeah, they sure were.
And the concern, of course, is that if you start rate cutting hard, that inflation rears its head again. So it's an interesting time for sure.